Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are taking a deep breath and then plunging straight into the reality of one of the most talked about new electric vehicles, the Togg T10F.
Right.
If you've seen the marketing, you know the story. Stunning design, hyper-modern cockpit, this promise of a truly connected driving future.
And that vision it's very compelling. But the glossy brochure, well, it rarely tells the whole story, does it?
Not at all.
Our mission today is surgical. We've processed owner reports, scoured the user forums, we've analyzed service bulletins.
All to cut through the excitement.
Exactly. To find the key nuggets of truth about what owning this vehicle is actually like, 6 months into widespread use.
Exactly. And look, every manufacturer expects some teething issues with a new platform.
Of course.
But as our sources show, the T10F's challenges aren't really the traditional ones. They're unique to this modern age of vehicles that are, well, fundamentally giant mobile supercomputers.
That's the crucial distinction. The common chronic headaches that people are reporting here aren't transmission shudder or, engine misfires. They're rooted in the digital experience.
The ghosts in the machine.
That's it. We need to identify these ghosts and understand their real-world impact for you, the potential buyer.
I think that's the perfect frame. The T10F isn't just a car. It's a network device on wheels. Okay, so let's unpack this. Based on this mountain of data we've analyzed, what is the single biggest, most common chronic issue plaguing T10F owners right now?
It is software instability, full stop.
Okay.
The number one chronic headache reported is the performance of the main infotainment system. We're talking about the massive central screen frequently freezing, going completely black, or just becoming stubbornly unresponsive while the car is being driven.
And this isn't just about losing your Spotify playlist.
Not at all.
Our sources paint a very high-stakes picture. I mean, imagine you're moving at speed, maybe 90 or 100 kilometers per hour on the motorway, relying on that navigation, and suddenly that huge digital canvas, poof, it's just gone.
And you lose more than your map.
Right. You lose key controls.
Precisely. On the T10F, that screen controls so much. The climate functions, drive mode selection, critical information feeds. If it goes black, you're instantly deprived of necessary data.
So what's the fix?
Well, the reports say a hard reset, literally holding down a button to reboot the system, usually fixes it.
But having to perform a computer reboot while you're driving is...
It's profoundly disruptive and, frankly, unnerving. It points to a deep underlying immaturity in the vehicle's operating system.
That level of instability is alarming for something that's meant to be a reliable appliance. And these software problems, they don't just stop when you park the car, do they?
No, and this is where the software defect bleeds directly into energy management. We call them phantom drains.
Phantom drains.
Users are consistently reporting excessive battery depletion when the car is locked and parked for just 2 or 3 days. You might rely on having 80% charge Monday morning, only to find the vehicle sitting at 65.
So why is that happening? I mean, if the battery is healthy, what's eating all that energy?
It's the digital equivalent of insomnia. A modern EV needs dozens of internal processors, telemetry, connectivity modules, GPS to perform constant background checks.
Okay.
The reports suggest that instead of properly entering a low-power sleep state, certain background processes just fail to shut down.
So it's not one app running, but maybe the car is constantly searching for a network signal or updating its location when it shouldn't be.
Exactly. It's a connectivity loop that won't close. When a component fails to properly signal sleep, it keeps pulling current. This can easily account for that 5 to 7% battery drop per day.
Which is a major hassle.
It's a huge hassle if you leave the car for a long weekend. It really erodes the real-world utility of the stated range,
That really helps put it in perspective. Okay, so we've established the digital demons freezing screens, phantom drains. Now, let's talk about the irony. Sometimes the pursuit of high-tech design introduces some really old-school physical problems. Let's transition to hardware, specifically those flush door handles. Here's where it gets really interesting.
They are visually striking, no question. They retract into the body, which helps with the sleek profile and, theoretically better aerodynamics.
Right.
But the engineering seems to have overlooked some pretty basic environmental conditions.
The flaw, based on owner reports from colder climates, seems brutally simple.
It is. In freezing rain or snow, water gets into the mechanism that deploys the handle and freezes.
So the handles just get stuck.
Owners have reported repeated instances where they simply refuse to pop out. You press the button and nothing happens.
Wait, so I've bought a state-of-the-art computer on wheels, a machine that can talk to satellites, but a few milliliters of frozen water stop me from even entering the car. That sounds absurd.
It is absurd. If you're standing in a blizzard and a bit of ice prevents entry, that's not a minor defect. That's a significant design failure. It's a perfect illustration of how this hyper-focus on aerodynamics and visual minimalism can compromise the most fundamental part of owning a car, getting inside it.
You'd think extensive cold weather testing would have caught that immediately. Okay, so from physical access to digital access. Let's talk about the other major connectivity challenge for an EV charging. Our sources highlight frequent charging handshake problems.
This is a complex one because public charging infrastructure is notoriously inconsistent.
Right. It's not always the car's fault.
Not always. But the data suggests a pattern specific to the T10F. A charging handshake is that digital conversation that happens when you plug in. The car and the charger exchange security certificates, verify capacity, agree on a protocol.
And sometimes they just refuse to talk.
Exactly. They refuse to start the charge. And while, yes, some stations are faulty, T10F owners report a significantly higher frequency of these failures compared to owners of, of established legacy EV brands at the very same station.
But wait. Togg has said their vehicle is fully compliant with the latest CCS standards. So is the standard itself flawed, or is Togg's implementation of it maybe too sensitive?
The reports lean toward the latter. It seems Togg's software might have extremely tight timing tolerances. It's just too rigid. It requires near-perfect adherence to the protocol, and if a charger is even slightly off-spec, the T10F software just says no.
Whereas another car might be more forgiving and just proceed.
Precisely. A car with a more robust, or maybe just a more forgiving communication module.
That is a critical detail. So it's not that the charging port is bad, it's that it's having a failed conversation with its environment far too often.
Absolutely. And that adds significant friction to the whole experience of relying on public charging. The last thing you want when you're low on battery is a digital spat.
Okay, let's shift gears one last time. Let's talk about a category of complaint that is, well, pretty unique to the EV world. The noise factor. Multiple reports mention interior rattles and squeaks. Why are these seemingly minor issues so much more bothersome in an EV?
It's the cost of silence.
The cost of silence.
In a traditional car, the engine's constant vibration and hum, it masks subtle interior sounds. It's like acoustic camouflage.
Right.
When you remove that masking sound, replacing it with near silence, suddenly every loose clip, every poorly fitted piece of trim, every tiny squeak becomes amplified.
So it fundamentally changes the standard for manufacturing fit and finish. You need micromillimeter precision when there's no background noise to hide the mistakes.
Precisely. Owners report these specific maddening sounds. A loose clip vibrating in a pillar, a squeaky center console when taking a turn. These aren't catastrophic issues you're not going to break down.
No, but they're the definition of niggling issues that can drive you crazy.
Exactly. What should be a peaceful, silent drive turns into auditory torture on a quiet road.
That's a powerful psychological factor.
Yeah.
The silence basically weaponizes minor flaws against your sanity.
It is the ultimate quality control test for manufacturing. The T10F has to be held to a much higher standard of build quality because its powertrain is so quiet.
So, if we take stock here, we have chronic software instability, phantom battery drains, doors that won't open in the cold, charging failures, and annoying rattles. What does this all mean for you, the person considering this car? Is it a lemon? Should you just run the other way?
Not necessarily. Here's the crucial synthesis. The overwhelming good news is that the vast majority of these issues, the screen freezing, the phantom drains, the charging handshake problems, they are software related. And that means they're entirely solvable with over-the-air or OTA updates.
Like downloading a patch for your phone.
Exactly like that. The engineers are constantly pushing out patches, just like a video game developer fixes bugs after launch. The T10F is designed to evolve. A phantom drain can be fixed overnight with a software update.
That ability to update post-sale is the whole promise of the computer on wheels idea. But that leads us straight to the essential reality, the key takeaway phrase that should stick with you.
The essential reality is that if you buy this vehicle right now, you are essentially a beta tester.
A beta tester.
You're not buying a final polished product. You're purchasing a platform that is still in the phase of rapid software iteration and debugging.
That distinction is absolutely vital. It's not that the car is permanently broken. It's that its software is immature.
Right. If you're an early adopter who is comfortable with performing an occasional hard reset or dealing with a charging hassle and waiting patiently for the next OTA update, then you might be ready for the T10F. But if you demand immediate zero-hassle perfection from day one and you want to avoid feeling like you're doing the engineering team's testing for them, you should absolutely wait until the platform matures.
That's a perfect summary of the risk profile. The Togg T10F, based on these sources, is clearly a brilliant machine with revolutionary potential. It's just currently dealing with its own ghosts in the machine, rooted in that reliance on complex, evolving software and some minor hardware flaws.
It's the quintessential product of the modern automotive era. Fast-paced, feature-rich, and still very much a work in progress, even after launch.
And that knowledge is the true value of this deep dive. But this whole conversation, it raises one final provocative thought that goes beyond just the T10F. We've established that the major chronic issues, the digital failures, are fixable via these swift OTA updates. Does that fundamentally change how we should judge the quality of a modern vehicle?
It absolutely has to. I mean, we are moving away from judging reliability based on the classic mechanical failure rate, the engine or the transmission braking.
Right.
We're moving to judging quality based on the manufacturer's responsiveness to patching. Is the speed of their software team the new benchmark for vehicle reliability rather than the mechanical durability of the steel and rubber?
Something to mull over as you think about your next vehicle purchase. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Use this knowledge wisely.